She came to my room and silently broke down crying after my dad dozed off. She told me she likes someone from work. She isn't attracted to my dad. This whole ordeal is too much for her. She has needs too. Is there any way I can fix my relationship with my dad? I'm 26 female. My mom is 45 and my dad is 46. It's going to be a long and harsh ride, but I'm okay with cuss, abuse, and cruises because I very much deserve and am numb to them after going through this much. Never in my life have I thought I'd be in this place. My life is a mess right now. I'm the only child of my parents. They met when they were as young as 16 and had me when my mom was 19 and dad 20. It was an unplanned pregnancy. My father's no less than a man any woman would want to be with. He cooked, worked, did everything, and literally kissed the ground my mom walked on. I never thought him of as being unreasonable or anything negative. He was a family man, but someone you'd live to be with. My mom is cool, too. She was always there for me and helped me out however she could. My dad wanted to have more kids, but my mom didn't. Never told me why. So when I was 16, Mom was 35 then. My dad had an accident and became bedridden for 7 months. Though we never had to worry about finances, I studied at a private school. We are not from the States, but still it costs a lot where I'm from. There were bills, so Mom got a job, and in the following months, she was in my dad's shoes. She did everything, and I too helped her out with chores sometimes. Here's the kicker. She met someone and became emotionally involved. One day, Dad was bedridden for 5 months at that point, if I remember right. She came to my room and silently broke down crying after my dad dozed off. She told me she likes someone from work. She isn't attracted to my dad. This whole ordeal is too much for her. She has needs too. She showed me her text messages and told me about the guy. He was 26 at the time. They were flirting. I was young at that time, and seeing her break down broke my heart. I wasn't close to my dad, as close as I was to my mom, because my mom was the one to spend more time with me than my dad at the time. I know it sounds stupid, but I was a teenager then. I told her I understood and I'd cover for her. She began coming home later, and we both told Dad it was just her work. I never got involved until one day my mom told me she wanted me to meet and discuss a very important topic. We went out and I met that guy for the first time. He was a creep, shaggy clothes, and nothing like my dad. I don't even know why would my mom choose this asterisk over my dad. We sat down at a fancy dinner place, and Mom told me she was expecting a baby. I was like, what? They had the audacity to kiss right in front of me. I was pathetically disgusted by them. I asked them, what did they plan? She told me she didn't know. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. It helps me hit the YouTube algorithm. She wants to keep this baby, but she loves my dad too. It was an awkward time and we came home that night. We talked the night and she said she wants to keep the baby. I, again naively, chose to keep my mouth shut. So after this, my mom drops the news to my dad that she's pregnant, and my dad is delighted, but visibly worried as finances are still in question. So in the next 2 months, he began to do exercise and therapy so he could go to work again even after doctors said he still needed time. He joined work and put my mom into the stay-at-home mom position like before. Her affair was short-lived. When my brother was born, my dad didn't sign the birth certificate. He bought a set of paper but refused to tell me what is it. Mom was still in the C-section and he never told me what happened. He refused to acknowledge my brother. When my mom bought a home, he told her he wanted a divorce. It hit Mom like a truck. She literally had a mental breakdown. She kept begging and crying hysterically. My dad was indifferent and told her he knew everything. He regrets ever having me because I'm an ungrateful and entitled, selfish person just like her. They had an argument when I was holding my brother. He called her WHORE and that she couldn't keep her legs closed and wanted him to raise the child of infidelity. Mom kept crying and begging for forgiveness. He packed up his bags and left. They got divorced, which took 8 months to be finalized. I don't know many details, but Dad would pay spousal support for my mom and child support for me. Mom got the house, and besides this, everything was settled. He willingly gave away my primary rights to my mom and even refused having weekends, just supervised visitations. He never once reached out to me. I reached out to him countless times during and after the divorce. but never did once he wanted to be involved in my life. When I turned 18, he called me once. I remember I was elated that day, but to my surprise, he was cold. He just told me he hopes I stay happy and that he forgives me for what I did, but can't ever forget he was betrayed by his own blood. He told me he disowns me. It hit me hard, harder than I ever hoped. I remember I fell to the ground and cried. I called my mom names and that she ruined our family. I even cussed my brother that he's a constant reminder of what she did, and I can't ever have a father again. After the divorce, Mom never really dated anyone. She got into depression and got into a crappy but decent paying job, renting out one of the rooms in the house to make ends. She still celebrated her wedding anniversary and cried sometimes. My brother often asks about his father, but I don't have an answer except for we don't have one. It's been 9 years since the divorce. Mom never really moved on. She occasionally hooks up, but never thought of settling down. She thinks working for $60K a year and getting rent from a single room is enough to make ends for the rest of our lives. My dad, on the other hand, got his life together, started a business, remarried, and had a son. I often scroll through his profile. He never accepted my friend/follow requests and ignored my texts. But what I've learned is he's living a great life. I know I don't deserve to say it. I am as much to blame as much as my mom for destroying our lives and my brother's lives, but I miss my dad. I miss him a lot. I miss the times we had as a family. I went through heartbreaks, graduation, I was in an accident, and I didn't have my dad beside me. It feels like my insides are screaming. I tried to meet him, but when he found out I wanted to meet him, he moved to another city. I had a son last year. He looks so much like my dad. I want to name him after my dad, and I want him to meet him. I'll be getting married by the end of this year, and I want nothing more than my dad to walk me down. I effed up. I want him to scream at me, tell me I don't deserve to be his daughter. I want him to be angry, but I want him in my life. I want my dad. All these years and not a single day goes by, I don't miss him. I've sent long emails explaining and apologizing, but no response. I met him once in November 2020. I walked up to him and said hi. He was with his son and wife. He looked up straight into my eyes and replied, "Who am I?" When I told him I was his daughter with tears in my eyes, he said he didn't have one and walked away. I was with my fiance, and he handled me. My dad is by no means a bad person. He did everything any normal person in his shoes would. I know I don't have the right to apologize or even ask him for anything, but for once I want him to acknowledge me. I just want him to acknowledge me for a single day, which is on my wedding, and I want him to look me in the eye and tell me I'm his daughter. Be sure to like and subscribe as it helps the channel to grow. Comment what you think about the situation below. Thanks for watching.